everybody out there on YouTube? We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we're going to continue our reviews of the episodes for Young Justice all the way through Season 1, all the way through Season 2, and hopefully continuing into Season 3 when Outsiders starts on the DC Direct Service. Let's get our introductions out of the way. First, I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse One.
This particular video is going to be about Young Justice Season 1, Episode number 8, entitled Downtime, which originally aired out on March 4th, 2011. Again, there's going to be no spoiler warnings. This episode is over 7 years old, all right? And we've said that way in the beginning. And like with every review, after a short synopsis, we're going to talk about three particular things: what we liked, what we didn't like, or what we might change. And also, if we notice something new, that's going to hint to a further episode or storyline that's coming in the future. All right. Without any further ado, let's just go ahead and let me cover the quick synopsis of this particular episode. Downtime starts with the team in the midst of what looks like a fight with Clayface, and it looks like everybody in the team is taken out until Batman crashes through the skylight, dispatches Clayface, and he saves the team. Turns out it's training exercise, and that due to the circumstances and the results of the training exercise, he requests that Aqualad stay behind so that he can talk to him, okay? And pretty much he tells him, hey, look, whatever's going on, you got to fix it. Even though Aqualad, apologizes for the performance of the team, Batman is very, very quick to point out, your team did fine. You're sucking as a leader right now, okay? Everything that went wrong is going wrong because of you. In which case, Aqualad comes to the conclusion that, because of his emotions being gone from Atlantis and everything else, that he would have to go ahead and sort out his head. So he takes a little bit of time off, and that's pretty much the theme of this particular episode. While he has time off, we see certain things go on with each and every individual, team member and how they deal with their time off. But this is mostly about how Aqualad is dealing with the fact that he's been away from Atlantis. He meets up with Tula and Garth, his friends that he left when he decided to go ahead and join the team and stay on the surface. And then he catches up with Aquaman and Queen Mira and everybody else. Turns out that during the time when he's there, Atlantis gets attacked by the Black Manta and everybody else. And, everything goes pretty much... During the time that Atlantis gets attacked, he also gets dumped by his girl. So literally, during the time that Aqualad is trying to figure things out, he literally finds his whole world and everything important to him crashing all around his head. All right? Turns out that Black Manta is there to go ahead and steal this huge ancient starfish in the Kynoderm, right? Which, if you're a fan of DC Comics, is Starro. Fails to go ahead and steal Starro away from Atlantis because he gets thwarted by the efforts of Queen Mira, Garth, and Aqualad. But they are able to go ahead and recover just a small piece of the Starro tentacle, and then they bring that up to the surface. During the time that everything happens, Aqualad, he finally finds his focus. He realizes, okay, without me being able to go ahead and actually take charge of everything and being in command of my own emotions and everything else, there's no way that I'm going to survive being the leader any longer. And when he comes back to the base, he's confronted by Batman, in which case he tells him, Batman asks him, so did you make a decision? And he's like, yeah, I made the decision. I'm here. 100% I'm here. And then thus the episode ends, and they actually start introducing the parameters for the next mission, which leads straight into the next episode. But we're not going to cover into that. All right? Did I leave anything out, guys?
No.
I think that's pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, now that I've covered everything, let's go ahead and let's cover what did we like about this particular episode. The floor is open, gentlemen.
Jess Aqualad. Robin was not too happy about that. When Batman wanted to talk to Jess Aqualad. I like the Aqualad part of the story, but I love the way Batman Alfred dealt with Robin in this particular episode when Robin was not too happy about the Just Aqualad thing. And once again, it proves that Alfred is the connection to Bruce Wayne Batman, the almighty voice of reason, and the humanity connection. I like the way they played that out. But you get to know Aqualad and his background and, the way he emotionally reacts. I actually like both of those stories being told concurrently. More so Aqualad, but still. Gray Mouse, what about you?
I like the fact that it wasn't about Mr. Trippy.
Oh.
I like the fact that it wasn't focused on him for a change. I'm going to have to repeat what you just said. It's excellent because I felt the same way. I felt that it was good that they, or to add more, with Aqualad, they gave some background on there, why he went to the surface, why he chose, surface versus, what is it? How do you say it? Olympus?
Atlantis, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, you know what I mean? I was glad about that. And I loved, again, how Batman dealt with adolescent Robin. That is exactly how I felt that an adolescent would react to that. He felt alienated, isolated, like, why Aqualad, and then at the end, like you said, and like we've been saying on this channel many times before, is that Alfred is what keeps Batman in reality. Otherwise, Batman, that's a dark character, and it always will be. It just the world that he's in is rough, and Alfred's there to do that. And I love that connection between actually it's Bruce Wayne and Dick is what that was. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And a little smile that Alfred, I loved it. And that I have to admit, that was great. And I did for my own little thing, I'm taking up too much time, I'm sorry. But for my own little thing, I did like how they went across the team, most of the team, with Superboy and Miss Martian. They showed their little spill, and then Kid Flash and his little thing, and then Artemis, her thing, so that was, I liked how they did that. They're like, showed side stories. So what do you think, Reverend?
Well, yeah, there was a few things that I was going to go ahead and touch on. I do have to say that I like I said, this in some instances, this particular episode might have been very low key for a lot of people, but like I said, I find it really, really strange. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just maybe maybe I just get off on really good dialogue and storytelling and really good character interaction. But them actually taking time out to show what each and every one of the individual team members, what they have to face outside of being within the cave, with the exception of Miss Martian and Superboy, who that's their home. They live in the cave. They don't have any place to go. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with trying to cook dinner and them figuring out what's going on, and then having Red Tornado walk in, just kind of looking at things, say okay at the scene, and then just walking out was priceless. Okay, and the thing is that it wasn't overdone, it wasn't too wordy or anything else, but everything that happened on screen or everything that was shown, it was like, this is them really. And the cool thing about this is that they're really effective in the way that they're telling the storytelling. It's not people saying what they do. It's actually showing the audience, you as a person who's watching the episode, this is what they do. And this is how you get to relate, even though, Kid Flash, Wally West can be really, really annoying and headstrong and everything else. But you see that in this particular part, hey, he is just a regular kid. And yes, he's a stupid fucking teenager. Okay, guess what? All of them are to a large extent are stupid fucking teenagers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And and it kind of makes sense, and it's cute that way. All right. Not to say that the episode is perfect, because there's probably something that probably bothered you if you've seen this enough times. That'll bring us up to our second talking point. What we usually bring up is, was there anything that you noticed that you didn't like, or if you had a choice, you would have actually changed about this episode? What is it, guys?
I don't think there was anything I would change about this one, because the way they had Aqualad as a whole, as far as his story being told in this episode, he was emotionally distraught. He missed home. He was torn. He was connected there, and he was connected with the surface world. He had to disconnect from that. He had to choose one. It basically got chosen for him. He didn't overreact. There was no overreacting in this episode by anyone. Everyone stayed within the character that they were supposed to be for certain reasons. So I'm not sure if I would change anything. Gray Mouse, what about you? Maybe I'm missing something here, or maybe I'm just biased.
Well, with me, I think they kind of overdid Artemis and her mother.
Huntress.
Yeah, that would be a little. I'm not saying it's over, but just the fact that her mother basically forced her to go to college to Wayne Tech. But I understand where she's coming from, especially from a criminal background and what she did as a criminal. Wayne Tech has given her, quote unquote, a opportunity that she never gotten. But I felt like, how like Artemis kind of looked off to the side of the screen after pretty much being forced to go to that college from her mother. When her mother banged on the wheelchair. I felt like, it's not something that she wanted to do. But she'll do it for her mother. And of course, this is going to play a part in future episodes, but that's one thing that, it had to be there, but I felt it was like, I don't know. That's just me. But otherwise, I can't complain too much, about it.
Yeah, I'd have to say at this moment in time, this particular episode, I'd have to say after the first two episodes, the wonderful thing about this series is that it really doesn't. It's not like there was any sort of lull. Okay, there's been this general pace where things build up and build up and build up. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that we've noticed, especially if you watch our other videos, is that each and every one of these episodes connect. If they aren't building to something that's happening in the future, a lot of them refer back to episodes that happened previously. Okay. And with this only being 8 episodes in of the first 24 of season 1, it's really coming to the point where things are not just heating up, but it's starting to hit a boil, and things are getting really, really interesting. People are finding their place and everything else. And yeah, sure, they haven't sat there and done the deep dive in like maybe 1 or 2 of the characters and everything. We're going to get to that. Believe me, they do get to that. The thing with this is that, as far as setting things up, it really is. It's almost a perfect episode. Okay, yeah, it's a little melodramatic. All right, with the whole thing with Huntress and Artemis. All right. The funny thing is that the only thing that now when Gray Mouse brought up, the only thing that was in the back of my head was, if that Asian lady wasn't in her wheelchair, she'd be smacking the shit out of that girl.
Be on the ground, in a chokehold. Yeah,
in a chokehold. You are going to this school. All right,
you are going to school. Yeah,
yeah. That's maybe that's just flashbacks to my own parents. But just generally speaking, that the funny thing was that when you brought that up, yes, a little melodramatic, a little corny to a point. But I think, all things considered, if that's the only thing that I could really pick at that maybe felt like it wasn't executed as well as it could, I think I could leave that as this is actually a really good fucking episode. All right.
Well, there's one thing that I could just add to that, just a little bit, is the Black Manta. We kind of went over that. I think that I know that future episodes we will understand it, but I think it could have been a little bit better introduced, rather, because I felt like he was like, I guess that was the supervillain for that episode,
Black Manta.
Yeah.
Well, that does actually bring us to our third talking point, which is, what are the sort of things that you noticed in this particular episode that acts as a setup to a future episode or a future storyline arc that's going to come? What did you guys notice? The floor is open again.
Oh, come on. Look, Superboy and Miss Marsha, just fuck already. It just got to that point. It just got to that point with them. It's just like, all right, yeah, this is all right. What else can you do at this point? Just just kiss, give her some of that super tongue. All right, Superboy, just do it. But yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them. I'm just like, come on. That tension was just, yeah,
palpable. What about you, Grey Mouse? What was something that you had noticed that serves as a setup or alludes to something coming in the future?
Well, I mean, Black Manta. That's. I mean, for Christ's sake, at the end of the episode, we saw him standing in front of the light. That says enough as it is. Yeah, you did well. He was worried. He's like, "Oh shit, I failed. I failed the objective." But in the light was like, who was that? That was maybe Savage, maybe? He said that? Like, you did well. I was trying to recognize the voice, but of course, you don't see the people yet.
Yeah.
But, it's like, you did well. You accomplished an objective. Even though you didn't get the objective, but you did well. So, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, the one thing that stood out to me really stood out to me, and I did when I had watched this just earlier today, and I was setting up my notes. All right, seeing Aqualad in the Black Manta armor means a whole hell of a lot for a huge portion of season 2. It means almost everything for season 2. Yeah. Wow. Okay. The fact that watching Black Manta come up to him, and he recognized him right away, even though he was in the armor and everything. What gave away was his handles that he uses for his summoned weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, I sat there. I was like, oh wow! It like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this particular episode, but now that I'm watching it to do these reviews, the frame of mind is a little bit different. And yeah, oh my God, that is like that literally is like the whole of season 2. Once you get to it, all right. And there was that. Of course, there was really more immediate things with the different relationships that are going on in between the people inside of the team and all of that. But yeah, right there, when he sits there and right after he pulls a Robin move, he and Garth are going through the science center, and Garth asks, so you have a plan? He turns around and Aqualad is gone, and he takes out those guards and everything. Yeah, just seeing him, roll up in the armor and then actually fighting in the armor and everything else. Like I said, I was like, this just has a completely new meaning. I know what's coming in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great one right there. Was there anything else that we wanted to go ahead and throw onto that pile as far as any other tidbits any other little crumbs in the trail?
I got a little crumb here. Like you said, when Aqualad disappeared and came back and, hit those two guys, and then he made a comment about, I have other, I did other studies or something to that effect. And I was like, man, that's a nod to Robin if I ever saw one. The only thing that
Black Canary.
Yeah, and the only thing that he didn't do was laugh when he disappeared. That's it.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
One thing that You saw Lagoon Boy in this episode.
Yeah.
But it was very subtle.
Yep.
And, you know, and I like the fact that they told the story because we're usually used to Garth being Aqualad, not Calderon. So when they explained, oh, Garth is the one that stayed behind and actually continued his studies, while Calderon left to the surface world. And it's like, oh, okay, they actually, oh, all right, fine, yeah.
I completely forgot about that too. So now you understand why in this world that Calderon is actually the
Well, I remember in Flashpoint, the movie, both of them were there.
Yeah,
both of them were right by the side of freaking Aquaman. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, they basically just tell the story for Calderon becoming Aqualad, and yeah, I mean,
it's just great storytelling. I mean, I know we say that every video, but it's just, I mean, they really sat down and they storyboard everything. It's just great storytelling.
And I like the fact that this took place in Atlantis.
Yep.
Because you rarely see that unless it's just a total Aquaman, like movie or TV show or like episode or whatever. But you rarely see an episode with everything was in Atlantis just about, and I just thought that was great.
Yep. Let's go ahead and give our last yay, nay, or meh. What are our thoughts on this particular episode? I think I know what it's going to be all around, but Theme, what's your final rating for this episode? Yay, nay, or meh?
Yay. Hell yay. Come on. Like I said, there was barely anything wrong with this episode. And as Grey Mouse said, fucking Kid Flash didn't trip, fall, and land on his fucking face or ass.
Yep.
Yeah, yay. Just great storytelling all the way around.
Yep. What about you, Grey Mouse? What's your rating on this one?
Definitely a yay.
Yep.
I mean, I thought that they were going to go overboard with the whole, Aqualad being dumped by Tula, but they didn't go overboard with that. Yeah. He actually had to look. You felt for him, but he fucking understood.
Well, that was the only thing that actually connected him to Atlantis, quote unquote, other than, of course.
Right. Yeah. And once that shattered, and he totally fucking look, he still had pain, but he came to reality and he fucking understood. And I'm like, thank God you didn't start fighting amongst yourselves. Talk about you can't have her or all that teenage garbage.
They didn't have enough time to do that. I mean, right after.
They had the time, but they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
They would have found a way.
The only thing that ties him to Atlantis now is his father.
Oh, and what? The Queen being with child?
True.
And Aquaman and Aqualad, when he spoke out of turn, finally an heir, and Prince Orm was right there.
That was messed up.
Wait, isn't Prince Orm Ocean Master?
He is definitely set to try to take the trident at some point in time.
When that happened, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And he, and Aqualad even apologized, which that kind of opens up. But then they didn't go overboard with that.
Yeah. I'd have to say with this particular one, it's a yay for me. It's like I said, this is a near perfect episode for me because there are the points where you have like just a lot of downtime, just like the title of the thing, and the characters, the team members are interacting amongst themselves, they're interacting with their family, or they're interacting with the important people in their lives outside of the team, and it goes a large way to go ahead and build and actually develop their characters individually. Not only that, but when the action does kick in and the plot is, the action portion of the plot kicks in, it's really poignant, and this does carry on. It sets up a huge amount of things that even like I said, beyond Aqualad donning the Black Manta armor, as part of the Black Manta Corps, even beyond that, setting up all of the second season and everything. We have his part, setting up, all right, look, this was the only thing that, like you guys said, this is the only thing that has me tied to Atlantis and everything else. But when the shit went down, it really kind of kicked in and showed that you know what, people's lives are at stake. Either I can feel shitty and I can mope, or I can go out and I can do my job. And that's exactly what he did. So, yeah, like I said, great episode all the way around. But what we really want to know, folks, is what were your thoughts on this particular episode? What are your thoughts on our particular review? Are we off base? Was there something we missed? We'd like to know. You can tell us by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, we'd like you to, mash on that like button. And if you really like what we do here and you enjoy the videos that we make, we don't mind you clicking subscribe, sticking around and waiting for us to put out more. With that, we are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we're going to wrap up this particular video right here. That's our review for Young Justice Season 1, Episode 8, Downtime. And, yeah, that's what we got. I am the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Every form of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. And we sure do like this shit. Credits.